Do you think it tells anything about your personality by which cup you choose in the cupboard? I always wondered, do you choose the fanciest cup? Do you choose the oldest cup? Does it have any connection to how you view yourself? I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering your thoughts. I'm Tammy. Today I'm actually going to talk about grief. I want to dive into grief. A lot of people are going through a lot of grief after COVID, losses of friendship. It's not just death anymore, and there's been a lot of deaths, right, since COVID. And my story is I have a brother and sister that died as teenagers, and they died 6 months apart. That impacted my life. Every single choice that I make is impacted by that, right? That is trauma. That is real trauma, tragic deaths. My sister died with our first cousin and her best friend. And it was in a car crash. They were decapitated. It was a horrific, horrific, horrific death. And crazy thing is, me and my sister, my brother died first, February 23rd. And we would always promise each other that we would not leave this planet without each other. So every single time we left each other, we promised each other that, like, I will not leave you here. Like, if I die, don't worry, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to come back and get you. That's what we actually said to each other. So this is kind of crazy, but I think I've had some anger towards her, which I didn't even realize that she left. She left me here. She left me on this planet, and I was supposed to somehow figure this out on my own. And I didn't understand. When they died, when my brother died, it was, I wouldn't stop crying. I would not stop crying, wailing, like screaming, wailing. And I'm a pretty expressive person. But I remember one time someone saying, taking the baby away from me and saying, "You cannot hold her, you're scaring her, you keep crying." I was completely delirious, completely beside myself. I grieved. I even hugged my brother in the coffin to the horror of my parents, especially my father, who needs things to be very perfect on the outside, right? Very perfect on Sundays. Anyway, I wanted to tell a little story about how I stopped grieving. So I was hoping it would help people think a little bit about this planet, this earth, our destinies. Why are we even on this planet? What's the point? Anyone ever feel like that? Why are we here? So it had been months and I was not getting better. Um, the grief had completely, completely consumed me. I was on the path to be one of those people that people would say she never was the same. Um, it's been over 30 years, and times it still just feels like it was just yesterday. The loss of my two most closest people in my life and the people that understood me like no one ever has since, it was, I can't even describe the loss and what that did to me as a human being on this planet. My brother freaking adored me. And I mean, I have lots of people that adore me, but I adored him back the same. We had this mutual, just no jealousy type thing. You know, human beings on this planet tend to get jealous. Usually they like you in the beginning and then they get jealous of you. It's really weird and annoying. He wasn't like that. He just celebrated me and loved to see me succeed with like zero comparison in any way. It was just so raw and real and fun. I really cared what he thought. Um, it just made me realize, I don't know, yeah, it's really special when you really, really care what someone thinks and they have your best interests at heart. That's like a really beautiful relationship. And my sister Rachel was one of integrity. Oh, that girl. She was, I think, very misunderstood on this planet. She had very strong. Anyone that knows me, I have a very similar sense of right and wrong, integrity. Like it's very black and white to me. And she was like that too. And we have the same values like that. Like I knew she would have my back no matter what. Um, and she taught me when I would have an issue, she would always give me advice that was best for me, not for her. It's very rare to find in a relationship. Anyway, I wouldn't stop crying. I could not stop crying. And my phone's ringing. Should I answer it? Hello? Prank call. Ever get those? No caller, then you think it might be for you, right? Okay, anyway, God told me a very wonderful story. And it is the reason that I finally was able to stop crying. So he brought me up to overlook the earth. And it was before I was born on this earth. And he said to me, we were planning out the lessons that I would learn on this planet, on earth during this lifetime. And we were saying, you know, there's some really big lessons that you could do if you would have this Jonathan and Rachel be your brother and sister for this many years on the planet. And I was like, okay, yeah, like I wanted to be with them. I wanted to have that relationship. But he said, but you have to understand something. Your love is so great for these people that their loss is going to be like, it's going to affect everything for the rest of the time you're down there. And the good part is that you're going to be able to use those deaths to help other people, though. And you're going to be able to really impact the planet because of the pain that you're going to go through. Do you want to have them and have them for the 18 years, or would you just rather not have them at all? And then you're not going to be able to impact the planet in the same way, but you'll never even miss them because you won't even know of them. And I said, I wanted them. I chose them for the 18 years. That, to me, soothed my soul because I got to know them for that amount of time. And I believe that I will see them again when I die. And so I got them for 18 years down here. The rest of the time down here has been a bit challenging without them. Not gonna lie, it's been harder than I probably thought, but I'm gonna see them again. And so I hope that that story brings you some peace when it comes to grieving. Um, grief is no joke. Grief is something I think that you just have to walk through the pain, because you can't make it better. Like I always would say, well, I don't want to go see a counselor for it because they can't fix it. They're still dead. They're gone. Right? What does that even help? You just got to feel it. You got to walk through it. So anyway, I'm Tammy.